SNX Radio invites you to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos with us as we dive into UFOs, cryptids, and everything otherworldly. As we navigate the night, we investigate the unknowns that spark our curiosity and challenge our understanding of reality.
So baby, let's get all the way undone.
Let's say my gift one plays so on.
Unraveling the mysteries, secrets in the night. We travel through the cosmos, ready for the flight. Together we'll shine, casting shadows aside, in the heart of the rhythm where our dreams collide.
Join the sub-nation X quest, the truth is our guide in the vast expanse. It's where we reside, hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the groove surround us, everything's alright.
From the sub-nation X quest, the truth is our guide in the vast expanse. It's where we reside, hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the groove surround us, everything's alright. SNX Radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller rink we'll never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNX Radio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bringing shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spot. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNX Radio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNX Radio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side, we stand hand in hand. In this dance of truth, let the story expand. stars align. Experiences unfold, one of a kind. Off-world encounters, truths they must find. Open your heart, release your mind. Take the leap, step into the night. With SNX Radio we will ignite a symphony of strange where the bass drops low. Journeying deep where the unknown flows. What lies beyond the veil of sight? What secrets kept from our human plight? Coley's conversations stirred the thread. An awakening call for the living and the dead. Take the leap, step into the night. With SNX Radio we will ignite a symphony of strange where the bass drops low. Journeying deep where the unknown flows. As the echoes fade and the night draws near, the truths we seek become crystal clear. With SNX Radio, keep your mind open wide, for in this journey we all confide. Take the journey, come on, let's go. Ooh yeah, where the stars and secrets flow. Summation X radios glow. In the night we'll ride the show into the unknown, unknown, where mysteries are shown, shown. Dance to the beat we own, own, yeah. Come with us and let it go, go. Night sky whispers in the dark. Secret trails will leave a mark. Follow close, ignite that spark. We're alive, it's just the start. Into the unknown, unknown, where mysteries are shown, shown. Dance to the beat we own, own, yeah. Come with us and let it go, go. Feel the rhythm, feel the night. Every heartbeat, pure delight. So mysteries come to light. Hold on tight, it's out of sight. Into the unknown, unknown, where mysteries are shown, shown. Dance to the beat we own, own, yeah. Come with us and let it go, go. Feel the rhythm, feel the night. It's every heartbeat, pure delight. Mysteries come to light. Hold on tight, it's out of sight. It's out of sight. Into the unknown, unknown, where mysteries are shown, shown. Dance to the beat we own, own, yeah. Come with us and let it go, go. Feel the journey, come on, let's go. Feel it. Oh yeah, where the stars and secrets flow so bright. Summation X radios glow. Oh no, in the night we'll ride the show into the unknown, unknown, where mysteries are shown.
Hello, everyone. Let me see here. And that's it. Welcome to another episode of SNX Radio. As you know, I am Coley. I'm holding down the fort tonight, and we are doing a special Sunday episode because we have a very special guest you guys are going to love and enjoy. Before I get going, though, I just wanted to give a shout out to the chat. See who's all in here. Spider Bright, hey girl, thank you for being here. Oh, Carl, our guest is in the chat. Carl's a good friend too, so you guys will love him. You've seen him in our chat before. He's actually a mod too. So MadPack777, great to see you. Kitty Cat Whack, welcome back. That was kind of like had a little rhyme to it. Kurt W75, always great to see you, and thank you for all you do behind the scenes. Mr. Truth Seeker, I have my glasses on, even I have no excuse for that. 137, welcome. I know I saw a couple other in here. I do not want to miss anybody. If I do, Mike Nation, welcome. And yeah, so if I missed you, I'll find you along the way. I promise. I really, chat's really important to me, and I'm just so glad that everybody is here. So I did have a couple issues on Twitter. For some reason, it was making me validate my account, and so I got that done. And so we did a little bit lengthier of an intro, just so everybody knows. It's okay, but we got it handled. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it, tell you a little bit about Carl Supp. He's, there's a cool story that goes behind there, but I'll wait till he comes out. So Squashing Carl Supp, Chasing the Unknown. So he's a cryptozoologist, paranormal researcher, and software consultant. He's sent so many documents. He's an avid Bigfoot investigator. He's documented 13 sightings across Arizona, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Illinois, along with other states, including Long Island, New York. That's awesome. He's got tons of videos, tons of pictures. I've seen him before. If you did not catch it, look at the first episode that he was on SNX, and you can go back. We shared them all there, and he's really, really good about doing that. So, yeah, he eats, sleeps, and breathes this. So he's very good at what he does. And without further ado, I'm going to just let Carl come out and kind of tell you a little bit about himself. Welcome,
Sure.
Carl. Welcome back. Yeah. I
Hey,
said
everybody.
they've probably seen you so many times in chat and just not realized who you were, but
Yeah,
this is Carl. Yeah.
this
So
is me.
yeah. And I love to tell the story about how it was crazy. You know my area so well, and
Oh,
an area that I've been in. Yeah, you were like asking me about places just before behind. I was like, I don't even know where those are, Carl. But yeah, it's very cool, very cool. So welcome back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm so pleased to be back.
Yeah.
So,
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and
sure,
what you do?
sure. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What
No,
were you
that's
saying?
just tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do and all
Sure.
that. I'm just
So,
go
yeah,
for it.
I'm a software consultant. Have been, now for 45 years, if you would believe. I actually started a consulting business when I was 16 years old. So it's been a while, and through the years, some of my jobs, were local. Some of them were, a lot of travel, and it wasn't really until 2008 that I actually, started a healthier interest in Bigfoot. I'll put it this way: we had not that I wasn't a believer, but I certainly hadn't really delved into the details at that point. So I actually, in 2008, I was sitting on my couch with my son, who was 16 at the time, and he actually a Messing with Sasquatch commercial came on, and he didn't laugh, and it was hilarious. It was the one where the hitchhiking Sasquatch rips the guy out of the car, and I laughed my ass off, and he didn't laugh, and I said, well, how? And he goes, well, it's not based in reality. And I said, well, wait a minute, how do you know it's not real? I said, there's the Patterson-Gimlin film, and so he goes, oh, that was, we'd already, the BBC recreated it perfectly. It was a man in a suit, and I said, no. I know that's not true. So we searched online, found the clip, and he goes, oh yeah, that's not even close, right? So then I said, well, back in 1982, because I was such an avid hiker and explorer of Arizona. I mean, I'm telling you guys right now, I have hiked, and just like Coley was saying, I go to a place, I explore, right? I go to the towns that are population 10, and
Yeah, that's true.
and so I was camping up on the Mogollon Rim in Arizona back in 1982, and 3 a.m. in the morning, something howled just unbelievably loud. It was like you strapped a subwoofer to your chest. And I was there with two friends of mine. We had actually rowed a Zodiac boat across the lake, and here we are, 3 a.m., three guys pour out of a tent trying to decide, what are we going to do? I have no idea what that was, and it sounded like it could rip us apart. It was so loud, and we were going to get in the boat and row across the lake in the dark, and then finally we convinced ourselves, oh, it must have been a really large coyote or something, and we went back to sleep, and or went back in the tent at least for a while before we fell asleep. But so I tell my son this story, and he gets all oh, come on, Dad, in Arizona. And I said, well, I don't know, there's the legend of the Mogollon monster that's been told for by cowboys going all the way back to the 1860s. I said, I don't know, let's take a look. So I Googled Arizona Bigfoot, and the BFRO website came up, which is the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. And the two of us sat and read a bunch of the different encounters and reports that they had on there from Arizona. And I get down to, I get down towards the bottom, and I see a link that says the Ohio Howl. Now, if anybody that's really into Bigfoot and whatever, there was a recording that had been made of this long howl. It's kind of one of their primary long distance communication devices that they employ. And I played it, and my son saw, auditory memory. Hair stood on my arms, up on my arms, and my son saw that, and I said, that's exactly what I heard in 1982. So the two of us went on to an expedition that BFRO was hosting in Arizona about 3 weeks from then. And while we were out there on the first night, the leader made a howl from the campsite, and 3 howls came back, one from the north, almost maybe 3-4 seconds later, and then another one from the northwest a couple seconds after that, and then one from the southwest about 7 seconds later. And it was at that moment, being a scientific data analyst, software consulting kind of person with an interest in science, I said, I need to figure out what that is. And since then, it's been quite a journey with 13 personal sightings in 4 different states, and investigating in numerous states, including, as Coley mentioned, on Long Island, which was I was on site on Long Island for over a year, and it was one of those things where I wanted to. There's plenty of woods. Let me try to find see if I can find something out here. Well, I struck out looking for structures and so forth in different areas and different woods, and then finally, I decided when I was on Long Island, employed a new technique, which was to source paranormal websites, ghost hunting websites, in order to look at, what unusual reports have ghost hunting websites reported. And there was some that said, oh, there was a story of this woman who had lost her child, 200 years ago or 300 years ago, and she mourns her child in the woods and howls in the woods at night, painful, mournful, or they went into those woods trying to search her out, and rocks appeared from thin air and were thrown at us and so forth. And I said, well, that's that's absolutely Sasquatch behavior. So I started investigating those woods, and I mean, boy, did I come close to having a sighting there, but just barely missed it. But I'm telling you, they interacted with me and gave me gifts, and that went on for a year and a half, and that was fantastic. But and I've got all that documented and written down, and measurements and photos and so forth, and I've got a lot of those blogs online. So
Yeah, you've got a mound of like fascinating evidence. You really do. I mean, structures, footprints, I mean, the whole nine yards. So when you're talking about Bigfoot behavior, or that's because I know we're talking kind of behind the scenes too, how you're able to look at a map that you know them so well, you can kind of anticipate like what areas they're going to be in or things like that. Can you go into kind of the nature of Bigfoot and how you're able to gauge a lot of that?
sure, I mean, their primary their primary goal is to sustain their family, right? It's just like any one of us, right? We have a house, we want to maintain our house, safety for the kids, et cetera, right? So, don't, and I know there's a lot of people that think, oh, they're just great apes and they're dumb. And it's like, no, they're very smart. In fact, their strategic intelligence far outweighs our strategic intelligence, but they, no, so obviously there's the three keys, right? If you have shelter, or a place where you can hide, right? Food and water, right? I mean, right? That's our basic standard, and then I always look for a transit area. So even if they're in a specific area, how can they move to other areas, especially if there's food is migrating. Deer is one of their favorites, and Arizona elk. I'll tell you what, the number of elk that I found that were killed were, and every one of them had a spiral fracture to the rear left leg. Deer, sometimes they didn't have the fracture on the leg, but they had been punched in the rib cage, and that. Yeah, having it, once you've seen a deer skeleton with a fist size, a large fist, larger than mine, fist size, just punched into the rib cage, it's pretty astounding. But and so they have a transit route in out of the area that where you would end up finding structures, and then also what I would call their safe zone. Okay, so there would be a place that would be very inaccessible to us. Maybe it's marshy, maybe it's just thick briar or something like that. It's a place where humans wouldn't go, and that's kind of like their hiding place. That where if things get if there's too much activity in their area, or whatever, they can retreat to that zone, and in kind of applying all of this in urban areas. I mean, I found them in the suburbs of Chicago, in the forest preserves. Had 3 sightings in the forest preserves, and it's they and once you do that, once you actually kind of really start getting into their mindset, you can determine, you can look at a map and say, okay, I found a structure at point A, and then ask the question, why is that there? What's the point? Is it is it the food source there? Is it water? Is it and then kind of backtrack from that, right? And look and see, okay, where can they egress and ingress into that area? Where could there be a safe place? And just trying to get in their mindset, because they're just like us. They are just like us, and a lot of times we project our other thoughts or a little bit of hubris on that on their activity, and it's like I said, they're just like us, and if you get rocks or sticks thrown at you, it's because, hey, you're in their living room, get out of my house, right? And that's pretty much what it is. They're not throwing boulders at you in order to, you know, take you out. They're doing it to scare you off. So anyway,
Which makes sense. I mean, I think of how I react when I'm afraid of an animal or something. I mean,
yeah,
there's a spider, a big spider in my room. I mean, the shoes are flying. I mean, that spider should not be offended whatsoever that I'm doing that. I'm afraid. So
yeah,
obviously there is that fear, and a lot of that comes out of I'm sure that they are, and the things that go on behind the scenes. I've heard of people going out and hunting them, not
right,
just the term hunting. Like you say, ghost hunting. I got in trouble for this one time, Carl. I said they're about Bigfoot hunting, and someone railroaded, and I was like, no, believe me, it's just a term. It's just a term. Seeking, searching, trying to find. But I'm not out to harm them at all. So
yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. And originally, I wouldn't say a hunter, right? I was trying to understand, and now I'm all about just the interaction. So even when I go to my research area up in northern Arizona, they know me. I mean, I don't even get a launcher out of the car before all of a sudden there's either a wood knock or a rock clack or something like that, or a whistle, and I just turn around and go, "Hey, I'm here," and then they hang around the campsite, and I just try different things or try to communicate. It's really and I learn far more from that than you know than trying to trick them and put up cameras and so forth. But audio is a very passive thing, so I would encourage you to get audio recorders. Cameras are kind of an affront to them, I think, and so a lot of people are like, well, how come they don't game cameras and stuff? And I mean, I have a theory that they can actually kind of see auras on people. So even if you're I'm going to get in a ghillie suit and I'm going to hide in this spot for 4 hours or something, or at a tree stand or whatever, I think they can see you even if you're like that. And it's and of course, if you have a game camera hooked up, right, that game camera is either putting out a very low level of electronic sound, or suddenly there's a blank spot in the aura of the tree if they can see that, right? And I think that I mean, that's the only explanation I can give, because years past I had hidden game cameras extremely well, and it's like nothing, and I take it down and all of a sudden the gifts are gone, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't have an explanation for that, so it's something that happened, and then you have
So like
to,
they're mad at you. So they're like, I'm not gifting anymore until you
right,
straighten your act. Okay, that makes sense.
right, yeah, yeah, so we would just do that.
So
So
going into some of the gifts, a lot of people don't understand, and I guess I didn't exactly either. I've heard James Gillian talk about how he even leaves jars of peanut butter, and he said they're to the point like they put the lids back on the jars of peanut butter. I
yeah,
said, "Are you serious?" Like, but yeah, he swears up and down by it.
oh, I've left out like pound cake, and I put it in the aluminum foil, and I wrapped it on there before I went to bed. I said, I told them in English, I left a treat here for you in the kitchen, that's yours, right? And it's wrapped in aluminum foil over, right? And in the morning I wake up, the pound cake's gone, but you would think if it was a raccoon or a squirrel or something like that getting in it, it would shred the thing, and there'd be pieces of aluminum foil everywhere and so forth. It had actually opened up the foil, eaten it, and then folded the foil back so it was flat on the table. I mean, so it's things like that where I just learn so much more than trying to trick them or to get a blurry image, because most of the time I'm under a forest canopy, and of course they're not standing still taking a selfie, right? So and it's
Right,
it's
right.
just,
No,
yeah,
it did the same thing was kind of with UFOs. I'd be out there with my camera, and every time, and then it would drain the battery. It would blur the screen. It would be, I mean, there was everything that they could tell me without telling me, hey, lady, stop filming us. We don't like it, but
yeah.
I could see how that would be a threat. So do you think that these are interdimensional beings? Do you think it's something that's really just living right here in the here and now with us that that has been so hidden away that we haven't, realized just how prominent, I guess, they are in the communities?
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, I heard somebody saying, "Oh, I think that there might be maybe 1 or 200 of them in North America," and I'm like, there is just no way, because using my formula, it's like I've been to so many different states and so forth, and I go, okay, I'm going to go right here, and I'm just going to look. I haven't even looked for a structure or anything. I go in there, I make a knock, I get a knock return, right? And I'm like, okay, there's one, you know, and this continues to go, and I'm like, so I mean, my estimate, is at least probably, I'll say 30,000 in North America at least, just because there was one part in Maryland where I drove about a 20-mile stretch, and I'd stop and investigate, and all of a sudden, oh, I got a howl back, I got a whoop back to me, at like stopping at 5 different locations along the B&O Canal. And I'm like, well, these are miles apart, right? It's not the same individual, right? So if I find 5 individuals in one night that have responded to me, then I have to up my number, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. So, have you, I guess, when you said you spoke to them in English, like,
Yes.
do they understand English? It probably sounds like a stupid question, but
Well, they apparently understand English, at least um, certainly up on the Mogollon Rim, I know for sure, and actually a couple places in Illinois that I've researched that where I've asked things in English and got a response. Especially one was interesting up on the Mogollon Rim in Arizona was right before I went to bed. I asked. I said, I would love it if you would come and leave a handprint on my car. And I have a Yukon XL, big extra long size. Well, I'm 6'5", so yeah, if I'm sleeping inside, I need the extra room. So about 3 a.m. in the morning, I stirred. I started waking up. Almost had that feeling in my sleep that I was being watched, right? And as I turned, I was wearing my Fitbit, and it has a green biometric laser, and it illuminated the inside of the Yukon. And as I opened my eyes, here this green light is filling the inside of the back of the Yukon, and here's this face not even 14 inches from my face. I'm inside the car, right? And here it is up against the window, just looking at me. And then as it realizes I'm looking back at him, he just backs away like this and into the darkness, fades out. And of course, I propped up on my elbow, and I start looking out the window, trying to see if in the starlight, if I can see any movement between trees or anything like that, with shadows. And I did not see anything. But 5:15 a.m., right pre-dawn light, I wake up and I decide I'm going to look out there and get out there early and look to see if there's any prints in the ground, which had some very short grasses and stuff. So there really wasn't anything there weren't any footprints right by the car. But of course, right on the side of the car was a 14-inch handprint. So 14 inches from the tip of the pinky down to the base of the thumb. So that's huge. I have big hands. I used to play pro volleyball long time ago, different lifetime, and and it dwarfed my hand, and it was it was amazing because you could actually see dermal ridges and so forth. But the really interesting part of that handprint was that it was on the outside of the car, but it was actually the oils from the hand that was insulating the glass, because it was cold at night, and the moisture from that from me breathing inside the car actually had condensated on the inside of the glass, and that portion where the handprint was actually that's how the handprint showed, because it had been insulated. Now, fast forward a year from that time, I had actually only washed vehicle, I think twice in between there. And when you looked on the outside of the glass, you really couldn't see anything. But a year later, I'm up in the same vicinity, and I wake up, same situation. It's got cold at night. I'm sleeping in the back, and I wake up and I can still see the parts of that handprint on the glass that was insulated still just from those oils. And it was pretty neat. But that same night that the handprint was left, a second individual left an 11-inch handprint from the pinky tip to the base of the thumb on the hood of my friend's car. And in that one, you can actually see the hairs coming off the side of the hand in the dust on his hood, and then off of the wrist. So, but
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
really amazing. Wow. So have you, and I know that they say, because we're kind of becoming under the realization, not everything is good, not everything is bad. I know there's been a few cases on the missing 411 and the stuff like that. I guess, what do you think? Is it more of a protection? Like, hey, you're coming too close? Or do you think that there are some that are, more, I guess, along that spectrum, the duality of good and bad?
I think there's for the most part, I think they just want to kind of be left alone, or politely interacted with.
Sure.
But I think that there probably are some, just like there's a lot of bad people in this world. And in fact, most of the time, I mean, the reason why I'll pack a gun in the woods is, not only for bear and mountain lion, which I've encountered both multiple times, but also really crazy people. Where it's like,
yeah,
okay.
Jessica Jones was talking about it, and she's like, do you know how many people are out there? She's like, if you were going to hide, she's like, I take when they go packing too, and she's like, it's not necessarily, she's like, it's there just in case, but it's there because of the people out there in the in those areas, in those desolate areas. And I was like, I guess I never thought about it like that.
Yep, and I think that, and I see there's a question here about
Yes.
the Bridgewater Triangle, and I only just recently heard something about that, and I'm not familiar with it as much, and I'm trying to remember the context of that. But do you know the context of that, Coley? Oh, I think I lost her. Well, yeah, so there she comes.
Yeah, well, I got this new mouse. I just ditched it altogether because there's one little corner on it, and if you bump it, for some reason, it shoots me right out of here. So I've now figured out what the second time, I'm like, what is that? So yeah, I just tossed it. You guys didn't see it before I did. I just tossed it across the room. So I'm good to go. Yeah, it's good, Carl. You've been on a few shows before, so if that ever happens, just keep going.
Okay, all right, good.
No, but continue. Yeah, so you saw the question from Benno.
Yeah. So I didn't know about the Bridgewater Triangle. There was something that I just saw recently, but I didn't really I didn't really get the full thing. So I didn't know, Coley, if you had additional details on Bridgewater, just to kind of spark my memory on that.
I do not. He's in the chat. So Ben, if you can see this, can you go ahead and give us a few more details on that? Because we definitely, I know Carl definitely, he'll get on his Google Maps and check it out. Traveling Fools 2020. Nice to see you guys. I'll be on joining their podcast here pretty shortly, I believe next Friday. But yeah. So I'm not sure. I know he's left a few questions to Kurt W75. He's in the chat too. There's a lot of people who've had experiences with it. Have you heard? Now, I suspect I just kind of moved a little bit. It's not very far, but I moved. And since I have moved, there's been really weird things that have been happening. But I was like, at first I thought it was paranormal. Like I've even was on a show and down to my dresser, all of the drawers flying out. Only thing that was standing was a dresser. But then Daryl Denton was on, and he was on with a few other people. And he said, sometimes they hear this clicking, like a clicking noise, And so I was sitting there the other night, and all of a sudden I started to hear this clicking noise, like it clicking. And then all of a sudden I got the stench, like the smell of, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it didn't smell very good. It did not smell very good. And then it dissipated. And then it was like, again, this clicking noise, like that's all I can describe it as. So I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if they were talking about like Dogman or Bigfoot, or if you've ever heard of that
no,
before.
no, I've heard them do tongue clacks in the woods, and and sometimes they'll do rock clack. Like one might have a couple of rocks that they're using, so they'll be clacking them together, and then and communicate, in the middle of the night, right, surrounding the camp, right, and they're coordinating strategic intelligence again, coordinating their positions and like saying, okay, like I'm in position or whatever. But if they don't have a couple rocks to clack together, I've heard them just kind of do either, very soft tongue clacks, just, and it's it a lot of people I think would get incredibly scared. I get excited, when I'm out there, I'm like, oh, hey, they're here, but it's and to your question too, on whether or not they're, I mean, I know that they are flesh and blood, but do they have specific abilities we don't understand? I mean, I've seen them run during the day, and it's my second sighting. Boy, I tell you what, it was one of those eye-opening moments where you just realized they can run so fast, they're so large, and they're so strong. It could take me at any time, so why worry?
Right.
It was one of those things, and I know other people probably would see that same thing and go, I am
Get
never
outta
coming
here.
back into the woods.
Yeah, get the hell out of here and never look back. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
Benaway, and I know Kurt too, that they're out. They go Bigfoot searching. I don't know if I can say
Oh,
hunting, but yeah,
I,
they go too. So Carl, you're all over
Bri-
the place. We should get a
Bridgewater. That's
map.
the one I think that's in Connecticut. That's like up in Connecticut, Massachusetts area, up in that. And yes, I have been in Connecticut and Rhode Island, and I did get responses from them there. In one area, it was up the Thames. I was a little further up the Thames, north of Groton, and the other one, I'm trying to remember the name of the woods I was in Rhode Island, but I definitely got responses in Rhode Island as well. So, and I think
Yeah, I
those
was just asking
actually,
him if that was
yeah,
his area, but yeah, that's amazing. You should have, because you get all over. I know you travel for work also,
and I have to go to St. Louis tomorrow. So,
and I think Laura, Whispering Portals in St. Louis, you should, because I know that my audience would love like certain, you should have like a traveling group. If you go into certain areas, let me
oh
know and
yeah,
I'll get it
that would
dropping
be good.
out. Because these guys, I mean, no, I would. I'm excited for you to come here and get to go out searching southeastern. Okay, yeah, looks like Kurt. Southeastern is where the guys watch.
Yep.
Really interesting area. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
I'll be. I know this coming Thursday I will be in Alton, Illinois. So
are you coming then to Iowa, or is not
no,
this
no, I'm
round?
going right after that. Yeah, heading back to Arizona after that. So
Oh, you're
I don't want to
escaping the
catch the
cold
snow.
weather. Oh, Carl. Oh, it went from like, I feel like summer, maybe I'm just in like denial or something, but I wouldn't feel like it just went from summer to like straight up like winter, and it's not even that cold out, but it feels like it is, just getting
Oh yeah.
used to that. So bundle up, bundle up.
Yep. I will. I will.
So any ideas of when you're going to be coming here? I have a whole group of
I
people here that are
yeah.
ready to go.
I will be making plans. I know it's probably going to wait until maybe the winter thaw.
I figured.
I have been in the Dubuque area
Oh
in the
god.
wintertime in 2000, and I was there. I was there actually 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks over Christmas and New Year's, it never got the highest temperature was 22 degrees,
Oh my gosh.
and on
Yeah, I'm
Christmas Eve was
surprised you even got
negative
that at
20.
that time of the year.
Yeah,
We're getting like the negatives. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Every year I'm like, what the hell are you still doing here? Like,
Yep.
my kiddo 17, he seems to think this is the place to be. And I told him there's a big world out there and this is definitely, but I got my friends, but we're going to get the heck out of here soon. Cause I can't take it. It's so cold, especially that
Yeah.
polar vortex breaks. And we're like out there, you can only be out there for 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to
And
freeze.
you can always get Finsel's corn shipped.
Oh, yes. Those corn. You're like Happy Joe's. I'm like, oh, yeah, Happy Joe's,
Yeah,
BLT pizzas.
exactly.
Yes, yes. Wow.
Yep.
So do you, I don't know. I know you said that your wife, does she have family that was around here? Do you guys visit anybody around here?
Yeah,
Or
she still has family there, but my in-laws ended up moving down to Arizona
they're
5
smart.
years ago. So
They're like, we're getting the
yeah,
hell out of here. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So but yeah, there's plenty of cousins and everyone else in the Dubuque area. So we get back there to visit and enjoy their company and the corn. So
So there's actually cousins. You got to have family here then. I didn't
yep,
know that.
but yeah, my wife's family. Yep.
It's such a small world. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah. There's some out in Piasta, and
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah.
right out by the county fairgrounds. Yeah, so it's kind of funny, but
Right in my area. Yeah. I just had a little issue here, so I'm gonna get this fixed. But yeah, right in my area. That is so crazy because nobody's ever anytime I tell people, I'm like, I'm from Dubuque. I'm like, where? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, no, and then Carl's like, oh no, you got Happy Joe's Pizza there, you got all this stuff. And he even knew the place that I was going to. I'm like, Carl, how do you know all this? I'm like,
yeah,
man, that was cool though. Very
like I
cool.
said, I love to sing karaoke, and with I mostly sing like a lot of Johnny Cash and lower thing, Josh Turner, so forth, and but the I
Rainbow Lounge.
yeah, but I always wanted to try to sing the song "I've Been Everywhere." I
Oh,
just cannot nail those lyrics, but it's true. It really fits me well. So
yes, you do get around like everywhere, and that's
yep.
awesome because then you get to explore all these different areas. So do you find like Bigfoot in certain? I know you said like in Illinois, you thought that they had the ability. Do you find in just kind of like us, people that from certain areas that they have a different little bit of cultural differences or
I,
some
I,
of that?
yeah, I think so. Although I mean, like, so I was on up the Illinois River. My cousin actually has um, it's been in their family since 1820, and the farm actually has the one night I was staying there, 2013, I was staying in one of their cabins, and on the property, which is huge. It's over 900 acres, and I was 2:33 in the morning. All of a sudden, I hear some heavy footsteps coming up onto the porch, and I see a shadow on the curtain that was on the front window of the cabin, and then the doorknob was tried, but I had locked the doorknob. I don't know why I did, because it's very rural, and when you're in the rural
Yeah,
areas, you
then
don't
nobody
lock your
locks their doors
nobody locks
around
their
here.
doors, but the doorknob was checked, and then I heard something walking around the backside of the cabin, which was literally a bushwhack event. I mean, it was just vines and branches and deadfall and everything else, something coming around the backside, and I'm laying on the bed, and there's no curtain on that window, and I see a shadow from the moonlight kind of cast across the bed, but I just laid there. I didn't suddenly go, and look back over my shoulder, but I know what I would have seen if I had done that. But that same area 10 years later, I'm visiting again, and I'm staying at a different cabin, but right next to it. And I was walking up to the main house and walking down the dirt road, and nobody visited the cabin that night, right? So I'm walking down the dirt road towards the main house across the farm, and I look up at the bluff, and I only thought to myself, I wonder if I'm being watched. And with that, There's absolutely no breeze. Not one tree or leaf is moving on any of the trees going all the way up this giant bluff, right? And right in the center of it, a small tree, I'll say probably 3-4 inch diameter tree, goes just this one tree right in the middle, just shakes. And I laughed, and I just kind of went like this to him, because I'm like, I know it's them, right? And it's on this kind of almost on the side of the bluff. I mean, it's not like an area a deer would be. And this was, it wasn't a deer. But so I walked about another 20 feet, and then I stopped. And of course, good scientific method, right? You try to repeat the event, right? So I turned back, and I thought to myself, could you do that again? And it wasn't even a second later. And I only thought this, right? I didn't speak it. And that same tree shook again. And that, I mean, I couldn't explain it. I mean, it could have been an incredible coincidence that there was that one single tree at the exact moment that I was thinking that shook 2 different times. It was, you know what I mean? It was, I can't explain it, right? But
you
it's
probably, do you know when they're communicating with, so obviously like they do the telepathic thing. Can you tell when they're trying to communicate with you, or when they're receptive of what you're sending out there?
I mean, they come around. I mean, especially when I'm up on the Mogollon Rim, in my area, they'll come right within 20, 30 feet of me on the other side of brush, so they're in a safe zone, but they come right up. They want to interact. They want to talk, and and I haven't really, in that area, I really haven't had any of that, where I've thought something. I mean, I asked in English, right? And got the handprint that evening, but it's like I said, it always amazes me. And then when you actually have an experience, right, there's got to be an explanation for the experience, and that's why I document, and I really get into it, and like I said, and try to replicate it as well. So in fact, even I had a similar experience where and it was actually the first time I tried it was south of Alton, Illinois. I actually, and this was 2019. Oh no, so 2019. So this is before that. But the Mississippi was flooding that year, 2019.
Oh yeah.
Alton, boy, I actually would go off after work, and I would drive over to Alton just to help fill sandbags, and and then finally
nice.
when they told me no, you can't be in this area anymore, because they thought that their temporary levee was going to break, and so I went over to McDonald's, and I went through the drive-through, and I said, could I have 48 double cheeseburgers, and the McDonald's was like, what, and then they were like, I said, well, I'm buying food for all the workers down there, and they're like, oh, here, and they just gave them to me, but I delivered them. But anyway, so south of Alton, I really couldn't go to a lot of the areas that I was investigating in that at that time, but I decided, I'll try this new area. I went to it, and I couldn't get into it. All the entrance roads were flooded and so forth. So I pulled up on the side of the road, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just do a call from there, right? And see if I get a response. Well, I get out of the car, and then before I could even say, I thought, I'm going to try an experiment. So I just stood there on the side of the road, looked towards those woods, and I thought to myself, I didn't speak at all. I thought to myself, if you're in there, could you please knock? It wasn't even, 30, it was less than 30 seconds out of those woods. And then I thought to myself, thank you right? And then that was the first time in my head I hear "Go in peace" in my head, and I was like, wow. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. So got back in the car. I drove to location number 2 to try to get into there. I get to location 2, same thing. It is flooded. It is a swamp, right? And with all this water and so I was like, you know what? I'll try the same thing again. So I get out of the car, I stand on the side of the road, and I just think to myself, if you're in there, please knock, right? And it wasn't almost instant. Within 1 or 2 seconds, all of a sudden I hear something bipedally sloshing through the swamp, and it actually is. And then all of a sudden I hear this very soggy, wet. It sounds like either a hand slapping the tree or a very waterlogged stick hitting a tree, right? And it just and with that I thought to myself, what are you doing in there? And then I have this thought in my head: catching frogs. Nothing, I think. And then I turned it all back based on my previous experience. I thought to myself, "Go in peace" to them. And then
Oh, that's cool.
I got back in the car
That's
and
smart, Carl. That's really
I went
smart.
over to Morrison's Irish Pub in Alton, and I had a Guinness.
Good for you.
Because I
Yeah.
was like,
So
I
that might
was
be
like, oh
something
my
that
God,
they
my brain.
say or mean something really to them, go in peace. Like,
Yeah.
so that's
Yep.
awesome that you're aware of that and using that, to communicate. So were the
Yeah.
cheeseburgers for Bigfoot or were they really for
Oh,
people?
no. The cheese. You know what? I have left out a double cheeseburger once. It was untouched. The apples were gone. So,
Oh.
yeah. So I didn't waste any more double cheeseburgers. But no, the
I
double
often made that
cheeseburgers.
joke. That's why I asked. I was like, I'm gonna bring a couple double cheeseburgers with us just in case, things go bad. And just like,
Yeah,
so when you said that, I was like, did
they
you really
don't
say
seem to
double
like those. They don't
cheeseburgers?
like them. But
Well, I wonder why. They're
yeah,
probably smarter than what we are
that
sometimes. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
But no,
wow.
all the cheeseburgers were for the workers that were running all this, the skids and stuff down there, using rock to bolster up the temporary dam. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
somebody said frog legs. So do you think it was a food source that they
Oh
were?
yeah, absolutely, it was a food
Okay.
source. Yeah, yeah, they weren't keeping them as pets, I don't think.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, maybe they have, like, this really nurturing side." Yeah, but frog legs, I remember my grandparents taking me it was a big thing to go to the supper clubs on Friday nights or Saturday nights, and the frog legs, and to this day, I'm mortified that I ate them, but
What, are
they
you
were
saying that?
tasty.
Wait a minute. Did bishops have frog legs? I didn't think that.
No, not Bishops. No, it was you remember Bishops. Oh my god. That was only the best buffet ever. I was so mad when they got rid of that. Wow, Carl, you've been like, you've been stomping in my woods and I haven't even
I
known
have.
this
Yep,
entire time. What a
absolutely.
small world. Wow, that's crazy. But I look forward to it because you really do. And I think people like eat this up. Like Laura said, you're going into her area. She's like, look me up, Carl. So many
Okay.
people are looking for, and I can, if you just kind of let me know if there's time, you have some extra space. There's people all over. Like,
Oh yeah.
all over. I don't know, Chad, if you want to even drop your states, let me know where you're at. And I'm kind of going to jot it
Sure.
down and put it on a map. And because Carl's so good about that. And I would trust everyone. There's, like I said, I was talking a little bit before about how there was a group that I did not feel was being authentic and genuine, and that's not the case with Carl. The evidence that I have seen and the stuff that he has brought forth, he is very much like, I mean, you eat, sleep, and breathe this. You
I
really
do.
do.
I do.
So
I do.
your son that you talked about, is he into it now? Is he like,
He-
okay, Dad, like it's no longer crazy? Like,
oh no, I mean he knows. He's heard them in the woods. He's had experiences. He's never seen one, but he certainly supports my habit, and so does my daughter. And she's in fact back we actually years ago found blood. So I can't get too much into the details yet, but it is going to be tested. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. But
So do you trust the people who are testing the blood?
yes, and that's why I've
Yeah.
waited so long to get it tested this way. So
Good.
yeah, and it's yeah. So I'm looking forward to some amazing results coming up here in for 2026.
So when do you know about when you're going to get the results back? Would
I
love
don't.
to bring you. I mean, not that you can't come out back on before, but if you want to come out and disclose that to the world, you know who to
Well,
call.
it'll be disclosed in Legend Meets Science 2, Sasquatch Legend Meets Science 2, which is coming out in 2026.
I got you. I got you. Well, we would love to cover that story as well. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, so guys, keep your eyes peeled for it. I'm sure that Carl, as soon as you get that information, drop me some links, Carl, and I'll get that out there because I know people are
Yeah, and that's my
definitely really
teaser.
interested.
That's my one teaser. But yeah,
Leaving us with
and
a
since we
cliffhanger.
talked, yeah, I was going to say, and since we talked last, I'm an author now, even albeit a small
Congrats.
chapter, but I was a co-author on the book "Help Me, I'm Haunted," which is available out on Amazon, and it's really a self-help book on things. Now, it won't help you with Sasquatch making clicking sounds outside your house, but
I hope that's not what's going on. I don't know
but
what's
if you
going on,
have,
but that's
you know,
what it
but if
sounds
you're, if you had dresser drawers flying open and other paranormal activities like that, it is really great insight into how you can help yourself a little bit, or at least better understanding of a lot of that. So
So,
it's
Carl, I have to ask you, like most ET experience, I grew up a medium. I grew up seeing spirits. I grew up communicating with spirits. Is it the same? Same. Okay. That's what I
yeah,
had read
yeah,
something. I was like, I'm gonna ask Carl about this because if you ask almost every single experiencer, I had Jeff Silver on the other day, and he's like, I couldn't before. He didn't grow up like that. I did. He's like, but after my ET contact, then I could. And I said, do you think that some of these are individual experiences, so they're kind of like getting us on the same level or preparing us for that type
yeah.
of contact?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very possible. And like I said, I never, even with all my fellow researchers, they'll give some extraordinary experience that they recount, and I'm like, and it's like, okay, I've never had that experience, but I'm not going to judge it because, and maybe even if you're not retelling it exactly as how, um, exactly how the event happened. There's going to be some truth in that, or things that we can actually glean and apply to other things. So I always tell people, always keep an open mind, even if some of the, although I remember talking to one person that was saying, oh, they were hiking through the woods and they ran into a Sasquatch school, and the young ones were all sitting there and they were being taught like a lesson. And I'm like, okay, all right, stop the mushrooms, right? And I mean, it was, I'm like,
Put
okay,
down the
that
hallucinogens.
extends out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I see a question here from Kurt. Have they ever stuck their hands up and shown you their palms? No, not. I mean, I've seen their hands and palms as they ran. But the interesting thing is so I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and over the years, hiking and playing volleyball and etc. I have a lot of Native American friends, and one of my Navajo friends said that their name for their name for them actually kind of means the child of the earth, because their belief is that they can actually melt into the earth. And but she also said, like if you ever see one, though, they can actually, get into your head, that they can, like they'll invade your dreams. That was, their thing. And the funny, and I said, well, at that point I had seen 3 when I was talking to her, and she's like, oh, like she was nervous just to be near me because I might rub off or something. She was very nervous about that. But I actually, I did have a dream, a very vivid dream, where I was, and this is going to sound crazy, but keep an open mind.
Not on
I
this
was
channel. It won't.
okay. All right, good. So I was in an area that looked like to me somewhere in, I want to say, southern or central Colorado, and there was a highway that came down this path that went right past an abandoned gas station. Below the gas station was a creek that was running down below there, and it was kind of grasses and rocks and tumble, but it was a lot of big granite boulders, and it was kind of cleared all the way from the gas station and from the road over to the edge of the woods on the other side. And I had drove up the road and I parked at the gas station. It's abandoned, and I just got out and I thought, I will do a call here. So I did a howl from that location, and if you can tell by my voice, I can do a pretty good howl. And and
Wow, that was impressive, Carl.
yeah. And so I do this howl, and with that, a Sasquatch comes walking out of the woods, and it comes walking across, the green area, up the hill, across the road, comes into the parking lot of the gas station, walks right up to me, and stands right in front of me, massive, right? And it goes like this with its palm, and it puts its palm out, just holds its hand out with its palm facing up. And I remember in the dream, I put my hand out and I put my hand on its palm, and then I woke up, right? But it was so vivid. It was like, ever since I had a near-death experience when I was 5, I've been sensitive, and boy, I've got experiences all over the map. But
So you had a near-death experience too.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah. And I got to meet my grandmother, who passed away in 1937. That was, and I didn't even know who the woman was in the dream until about 3 years later. I was at my grandfather's house looking through a photo album, and I was like, who's this?
Oh, wow. You spotted her.
Yeah.
So was it, now my near-death experience when I was around 7, but it kicks things up. I didn't actually die. I was in the car with a man who died while driving, and we were going through a cornfield at 90, 100 miles per hour during the dead middle of winter. And I mean, it was just a crazy, I thought we were dead. I thought
Yeah.
that we were dead. And I just remember time slowed down, and I didn't panic. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I didn't do any of that. But I just kind of accepted it. But it seemed like that was really a pivotal point. Was it like that for you, or did you actually die and out of here for a minute?
No, it was, so I actually kind of went, I'll put it this way. It was like a horizon with a brighter light, darker. And I kind of flew, I don't know what you want to say, towards that seam of light. And along the seam of light, there was just silhouettes all along, and you could see that they were just all these people in that light as I flew to it. And it was, but I flew, straight to, as I got closer, I knew I was going right to a single person. And then all of a sudden I was right there by this woman, and I talked to her for a while. And then she said that it wasn't my time and I needed to return. And I felt heavy again, and I woke up. But I was, that was, and I remember I told my parents about that, almost immediately, and they, I don't know, my mom was like, what, and so anyway, but it, years later, my
Don't feel
father,
bad, yeah. My
yeah,
my
my,
mom was ready to call the priest for an exorcist, so it can't get much worse than that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay, lady," but yeah. No, but you were they did you grow up Catholic, or were they kind of in the religion and this
I
was kind of
was,
piece
I
of
grew
your
up
taboo?
Lutheran.
Oh,
I grew up
so pretty much,
Lutheran.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know Catholics say it's Catholic light, but
Well, yeah, at least Martin Luther was smart enough to, like, out of there and start and I've been
yeah,
to m like, my dad's side is Lutheran, so I understand, it's definitely but there's some yeah, at one time, I mean, going back all those years ago, this is not a popular topic. This is not a par especially the
oh,
like, the paranormal, Bigfoot, any
oh
of the
no,
evil. It's like evil, ward off evil, and,
oh,
you know?
oh. In fact, my dad. So that would have been, let's see, 10 years later. My dad had a heart attack, and he had a near death experience. He was at the hospital, and they ended up, code blue and brought him back, and initially he was floating on the ceiling, looking down at himself, um, and as they worked on him, and then he drifted down what he said was a tunnel towards a light, and he went there, and then finally he said that, and he didn't meet anybody that he knew, but as he said, it was the light actually was I want to say the light had its own meaning. It was like the light was infused with love. And then he felt somebody grab his shoulder, which was the doctor trying to get him awake. And he, and then he felt somebody pull him, and he came falling back. Well, right about that, because he had code blue and everything. My mom had called the pastor from the church that we went to, and the pastor, it came out, it had arrived just, probably like a half hour after he had come back. And my dad just was telling him the story and about the different colors and the lights and just how absolutely incredibly beautiful it was. And and the pastor literally looked at the doctor in the room and said, "Is he on any, painkillers right now, or is he running a high fever and stuff?" As if my dad wasn't sitting there and was just completely discounting. And so I completely understand that. But yeah, it's really an interesting journey that I've been on, for sure.
It really is. I don't think anyone in this type of line of work is not had a very interesting journey. If they have, I'm gonna question how they got here. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like this is not for your faint of heart people or
Oh
your,
no.
this is real deal. I mean, especially you're going out there. I mean, there's things I'm a bet in the beginning you just had to been scared out of your mind a little bit. Like,
Y-
hey,
You
what
know,
the hell is this?
well, it was, well, I was back in 1982, but like I said, that really didn't launch me on any research, because no, Bigfoot's only up in the Pacific Northwest. It wouldn't be in Arizona here, But hearing that, hearing that howl back in '82, and then thinking back on that, and of course now I've heard the howl innumerous times, and and I can recreate that howl, and so, and get responses as well. But it's um I always tell everybody, if you don't learn something new every day, it's a wasted day. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you that I learn something new every single day, especially when I'm doing this, or just getting into even helping people. I mean, using my formula. There was actually one person that in Michigan that contacted me and said, where would I want to go if I wanted to look for Bigfoot near me in central, in central Michigan? And I said, and I said, well, where do you live? So he gives me his hometown, and I said, I said, okay, give me about 15 minutes. So I looked on a map, And I was like, okay, they're coming into this area because this is kind of remote, and they're transiting over to this other area, and the water, food, shelter, safe place, ingress, egress. And I said, I would, if you wanted to try to find some evidence, drive up this road about 20 miles from your house, and there was a bridge that went over this creek. And I said, go down into that creek bed, and I know that they've probably been transiting under that bridge. I said that would be probably a good place to start looking, right? So the guy messaged me. He goes, well, I'll go there this weekend. Sunday, I get this message from this guy. He's just like, oh my God. He's like, I went down there. I found like 5 16-inch prints down in the mud underneath this bridge. He goes, you were right on. He goes, how did you know? It's like, it's the formula and it works.
So you actually
obviously.
have a formula that you put
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have you ever thought about, presenting it, or is it in the book, or
Yeah.
where can
Well,
people
I
find this
put a book.
formula?
I am going to be writing a book here soon.
You should.
And definitely for 2026. I know that it looks like at this point, at least, I'll be speaking at the Sasquatch Summit 2026 up in
Okay.
Washington,
Yeah.
and then at the New York
Ooh,
Bigfoot.
what part of Washington?
It's out on the Olympic Peninsula, out right on the Pacific.
So is it near, what is it? Mount St. Helen?
Can't
Is
think
it
of the
near?
name. It's like Ocean View, Ocean
Is
something.
it by the East Ranch?
It's a resort casino up there that's reserved for the event, but it's it's definitely a premier event. I know Ron Moorhead's speaking
Oh, Ron, yeah. Oh, cool.
yeah.
So you know Daryl and Ron and those guys?
I
Ron
know
Moorhead and Daryl?
Ron. I know Ron. I don't. I've never met him personally,
Oh, he's cool. You'll like
but
him.
we've emailed a lot, and we have friends that are all in the same group. So
Are you in Daryl's group?
no,
Bigfoot believers and other creatures?
Oh, no, but I should be.
Yeah, no, I'll get you in there. It's actually
Okay.
streaming into the group. I'm a group expert in there, so it's actually streaming into his group right now. So I would
Okay.
love. I was gonna contact Daryl and Ron. They're coming. They have a not a docu. Well, they're working on a documentary also, but they have a podcast coming out. And I was gonna put together like a panel, and it'd be cool. Maybe you could come on with him and
Sure.
Ron and the
Oh,
crew.
absolutely.
So it'd be nice for you to meet them. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Daryl's
I'm friends
the
with.
Tennessee Bigfoot guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's. I should have known that. But the yeah, I know who he is now. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but no, yeah, but like I'm friends with MK Davis and Don Monroe, and we had a research group, Sibylla Irwin, Steve Summer, he's passed away. But yeah, we'd have good discourse on Sasquatch behavior and so forth, and it was always enlightening.
Oh, that's amazing. And so tell me again where you're going to be at Washington. I'm going to see how far you are away from James's,
Yeah,
because you
it'll
definitely,
probably,
if you're close, you got to go to the East Ranch. You definitely do.
okay, all right. It would be in. I know it's going to be November 2026, and I only just heard about this a couple days ago, so I haven't even.
Oh, yeah, you're impressive. Where's it at, Carl?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the only downfall is James goes right around October. He goes to Hawaii over to East over there. So I'm not sure if he'll be, but he's got a ton of Bigfoot, UFO, paranormal. It's all there on that ranch.
Okay.
It's what X-Files was.
Okay.
A lot of that was formed from the East Ranch. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely have to get on there. He was the one that was talking about the jar of peanut butter. Oh yeah. So when they gift you stuff, Carl, what do they usually give you? They don't like McDonald's cheeseburgers when you get them, but
they don't.
Apples. I've heard peanut butter,
crumb cake. I tried peanut butter once and they didn't touch it. But the So I just never went back to that. But definitely apples and well, the one time a shot of whiskey, that was a great moment, because it came. I was sitting there with my friend around the campfire. We had opened up a bottle of whiskey. I poured him a shot. I poured, well, sipping, right? Poured neat. We're in the woods in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and
Sipping, he says, sipping.
yeah, and so we're just working on
All
the
shots these days.
we're working on the whiskey, and it all of a sudden I hear right behind me, crunch, 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 comes right in behind, probably 10, 12 feet behind me. And I said, oh, would you want one of these, in English? And with that, the bush shook right behind me. So I took my glass, I poured a shot in there, I put it in my hand, and without turning around and like walking up to the brush behind me, I just reached back with my arm like that, and I just held it out there. I said, here you go. And I could hear the brush moving, like something like it was going to reach in the hand through the brush in order to get it. And mentally, I was so prepared to have him just go and take the shot out of my hand. And then I could hear the hand retreating back through the brush. It never took it. And so I just reached my arm back, and I said, that's okay. I'll leave one in the kitchen for you. So I poured a shot and I left it on the kitchen table overnight. In the morning, I woke up and the shot was empty. And yeah, I was like, wow. I was surprised, and I was so excited. I picked up the shot glass. I showed my friend, because it was just the two of us up there. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, it drank the shot. And then at that moment I went, like, it was probably fingerprints on the glass, and I just grabbed the thing,
I would do the same thing, Carl.
I was so excited,
And there goes, right.
Oh, crap. Yeah. But
you'll never get that moment again. You'll never get that moment again.
I probably never do. I've never had that experience before, but.
So do you think he was curious about what was going on, like about what you're doing?
Yeah,
or they're
I think
peaceful, talking among your friend?
Yeah, talking with my friend and stuff, and
they just wanted to be a part of it, maybe.
And they were watching us the whole time. I could feel them, but it just surprised me that it really came up right behind where I was, and I knew, but it was one of those things. It was like, oh, you want one, but
pull up a chair.
And it wasn't like we were 5 shots in or anything like that. It was like really on the
sipping. You said sipping.
I was making a second pour, to put it that way. And but anyway, but as far as gifts that they leave, a lot of times you'll love this. When up on the Mogollon Rim, that whole entire area used to be a shallow seabed millions of years ago. So there's all kinds of brachiopods, fossils all over the place. And whenever I hike around, I'm looking for Bigfoot structures. I'm just hiking, just enjoying the scenery. I'll bend over and, oh, there's one, and I'll put it in my pack, right? Put it in my pack. And then when I go up to my research area, without even gifting them anything, apples or anything, a lot of times I'll leave camp and I'll come back and there's a fossil sitting on my car, or sitting on the table in the camp kitchen, or and it's just like, because they've seen me pick up fossils off the ground, and they know, hey, that's something he likes, so we'll gift that to him. But other locations, Illinois, I've been gifted small rocks, Long Island, little polished rocks, feathers, and then at times they'll leave what I call ground glyphs, which they're taking sticks and breaking them off and making a symbol on the ground. I always take pictures of them, because it's someday I'll figure out the meaning or what their intent was with a lot of that stuff. But the best one ever though was when I was on Long Island. They actually it was winter, and I took 2 apples. I went over to the woods where I was going to just walk into the woods. I got off work late. In fact, a lot of the photos that I have from there, I'm wearing like dress slacks and Florsheim's, going out in the woods, right? And but I went out there to take these 2 apples. There's snow on the ground. I'm going to walk into the woods in pitch black darkness, right, to drop off these 2 apples in my gifting area. And I started walking into the woods, and I didn't even get 1 step into the woods, and this big giant branch break occurs, breaks, and so I stopped dead in my tracks, and then I said, okay, I hope all's well, I said in English, and I held up the 2 apples, and I said, these are for you, and I rolled them up the trail into the woods. And then I walked back to my rental car, and I drove back over to my hotel, which was like about a quarter mile away, actually. And the next morning, I get up early. I'm driving 2 of my coworkers into the office, and my car was parked right next to. There was like a little wooded border between all these business parks and the hotel, and I came out to the rental car, and sitting on top of the rental car roof, right above the driver's door, was this really neat little polished rock that was just sitting on top of the thing. And so it had come in the middle of the night over to the parking lot at the Marriott in order to put that rock on my car, because it recognized the car, that I drove off in. And I always found that one amazing. But the coworkers were just like, well, why is there a rock on your car? And why are you so excited about the rock?
To an outsider, can you imagine? There goes Carl. Carl's 6'5". He's out there.
Yeah.
He's excited again. He found a rock on his car. Usually people are pissed, like, I don't want my car scratched. But Carl, he's out there. He's ecstatic for this rock on his car. No, I get that.
It was a
I
rental.
totally get
It was just a rental,
Well, screw it then. Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
excited too. Regardless if it was my own car, I'd be excited
Yeah.
for something like that.
Yep. Oh,
That
yeah.
that really is amazing. Like all of this stuff. What's the closest that you have gotten to Bigfoot?
Well, through the glass, 14 inches with that one looking
With the
into my
window?
car. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that was close.
That's like right up in your. Is there any
That was
characteristics like that you can like? Are their eyes really glowing? Are they like? I
Yeah,
mean, some of the stuff
well,
that you've.
I didn't. Well, the one looking through the glass, the eyes didn't glow or anything. I have seen eye glow in the woods though, and one of them, the very first one that I saw was actually when I was little, and now I think back on that experience. But when I was living in Elmhurst, Illinois, where I grew up, there was a linden tree that was right outside my bedroom window, and we had a 2-story house. And I remember the one in the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom, and I walked past the window, and in this linden tree there was a humanoid silhouette in the tree. And when I turned and looked at it, its eyes glowed red. Well, it scared the piss out of me, right? I had to go to the bathroom. And I ran over to my parents' room. I woke them up, and my dad came back to the bedroom, and we looked out in the tree, and that figure was not in the tree anymore. All right. Now, fast forward some years, I watched the movie Mothman Prophecies and stuff, and I go, well, maybe that could have been, maybe that was it, but now I'm thinking it's more likely, since our property kind of backed into what's known as the prairie path that intersects the entire Chicago area. And it's almost like a nature preserve. It's a jogging path that's many, many, many miles long. And it's, it just, I think I had a visitor even when I was 7, and didn't really know it. But fast forward to after I'm researching now, 2009, we're in the woods, and the across this meadow, where I've actually had 3 sightings in that meadow, in that vicinity. But the across this meadow, at pitch black darkness, I'm talking, there's no moon that night. It's only starlight and the Milky Way lighting up this valley. And across I could hear something moving, and then it stopped. And from the area where it stopped, I could see these red eyes glowing, and they were glowing, right? It wasn't like anybody was shining a light on them, whatever. There was no reflective light hitting them. So they illuminated, and in fact illuminated enough that the leaves right near the face actually had a glow from the eyes. But it changed from a reddish orange with a little bit of yellow, and it was very natural. And that's why I think that they're, they have some sort of bioluminescence with their eyes. And I think they use it for very incredibly stealth hunting, where they could just communicate across an area with another one without making a sound while they're, sneaking up on prey or observing somebody, right? And I've had one other experience since then where I had a similar, eye shine sighting, and it made me think more about this, with how could that possibly be, especially for something that can see so incredibly well at night. I mean, and obviously your retina wouldn't be able to illuminate anything. So
do you think it's like an IR like type of deal that they're?
Well, maybe, but I would still think it would be. I don't know, because their eyes don't glow all the time. In fact, it's very rare, or fairly rare. And I think that what they can do, if you look in the corner of your eye, you have the remnants of a third eyelid in the corner of your eye, because we used to have a third eyelid that would cover our eye, especially as we're traversing through brush and everything, right? What do Bigfoot do, right? They're running through brush and so forth. And so I was thinking, if that third eyelid actually had a bioluminescent property to it, and that would not interfere with their night vision behind there, because they could extend it, glow it, and then retract them. And the interesting thing was, there was a video years ago of in Pennsylvania where there was a white Bigfoot, where a guy went back in his yard because he heard some noises, and he went back there with his camera and he was filming, and then this white Bigfoot is peeking behind this tree and then takes off running, turns and runs off. And as it does that, my jury was out on that. I was like, I'm not sure, about whether that's a real video or not or whatever, but AI wasn't that good when that video was taken. And the interesting thing was MK Davis really zoomed in on the eyes and enhanced it to show the thing. And as it's turning and about to run off, you can actually see a third eyelid starting to extend. So I was like, oh my God, my theorem is,
wow. So the third eye, maybe there's more to it than
it could be. It could be. I'm not saying obviously,
no, but that's pretty. And you're very in tune. You're very in tune with them. So I think that's awesome. Test that theory out for sure.
Yeah. And then of course I've had other people tell me, oh, there's no other primates that bioluminesce, so that's impossible. It's like, not all animals bioluminesce either, it's like, so it's and I see a question here from Kurt. Have I ever shined a flashlight on one? Actually, no, I've never done that, because I know they don't like it. From everything I've read.
What he just said is so true. I think that ET, their skin is reflective of the light. So he thinks that they absorb. That could be that's interesting. That's very possible. Interesting.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Because I mean, all the even IR light. The only light I've actually shined on one was my headlight brights as I was driving, actually on US, or I don't know, Highway 94, which is the Lewis and Clark Road. A couple of your viewers will know where that is, in West Alton, Missouri, and I drove that road because my supposition was that they're moving from this location to over here. So every time that I had the opportunity, at night I would drive that road, put on my brights, and the speed limit's 35 along there, be cruising along. And the one night, all of a sudden I was like, oh, gosh, look at that, tree that has a lot of moss hanging on it off to the left side of the road. And because it was brown and gray mottled, and then as I started getting closer, it turned its head, and it was just, two saucer eyes looking at me, and they ended up squinting, but they were reflecting white, off the headlights. But it was, the eyes were at least 8 foot off the ground, and it was, by the time I got the brakes smashed on after I passed it, and then I threw it in reverse and I went back, and the tree was gone. But
that's interesting. You don't know, like, it's so, because they're such observers, it seems like.
Oh, they're always
we did-
watching.
Yeah, they're always watching. Yeah. Do you think that a part of them is like, what do you think their role as a watcher is? Or what do you think their role
Well,
with humanity is?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know they watch us a lot. They're learning from us. They know what they know what we like to do.
Known what not to do, not
Right.
how.
Exactly.
What are they learning from us?
But there's, in their groups, they have one of the researchers that I worked with, rest in peace, David Lutjohan. He actually, there was a group, a clan that he was working with, or researching, and they actually they always had in it. So this was in a cornfield. This was outside of Kansas City, believe it or not, and Kansas City, Kansas. And he actually, there would always be a sentinel that was watching, and they'd be watching over anything. And I've experienced that in Arizona as well, where I've run into a sentinel. I didn't see it, but it made a sound that alerted others that took off, and wow, and it was a bedding area where they were bedded down. Three were sleeping there. I mean, a daytime knock, just boom. These three took off because I was hiking right towards where the nesting site was, and I couldn't even tell where that was, So I can't remember where I was going with that.
I do it all the time. No, yeah, but you start getting into your I've done it too a bazillion times. The sentinels of watching, and
just watching it, So I mean, I think a lot of it's safety, and just they want to keep, especially if you're in their area. Where are you? If you're in my living room, I want to know what you're doing there, and keeping an eye on you. But I see the question here: do you think the color of their eyes represent their moods? I'm not sure. Like I said, it seemed like a very natural variation between red, orange, and yellowish. And it wasn't just like I'm doing green, or I'm doing, blue, or whatever, actually, I don't recall ever seeing bluish, but it was always reddish, orange, yellow color. But it was, I don't know. I mean, could it be like a mood ring type of thing? Like I said, I think they use it strategically just for very silent communication across a distance, where they, especially like where I was, where it was absolutely dark. I mean, I'm talking, hold your hand up in front of your face and you can't even see your hand.
You've seen them during the day, right?
Yes.
Have you had daytime? Yep. Okay, so you've seen them at night. Do their eyes glow during the day also? Or have you only seen them glow at night?
Only seen them glow at night.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
So, and that's why, and I've heard them, actually, because I would hang up recorders. I probably still have. I'll bet I have 3,000 hours of audio that I need to go through still that I collected
Oh
over the
Lord.
years. You know, but I used to just go through and look at all the highlights of any, sharper sounds on the sound waves and stuff. And then once I can't remember, I was driving in the car and I had it playing on the, and I had my earbuds and I'm driving in the car listening to all this and to something I had already gone through once, but I was like, well, I'll just listen to this thing on the drive. And I'm listening to it and all of a sudden I hear a howl in the distance and I'm like, that didn't even show up in the sound wave because it was so far off, and I was like, I really need to go through these and listen to them end to end. But when you hang up 6 recorders that are recording 8 to 10 hours at a time, over the number of years, there's a lot of audio. Put it that way. But
Yeah, no, I did paranormal investigations for a long time, and you go through the EVP and the hours of hours and hours of that, and I feel your pain there. Too bad
yep.
there wasn't like can you run yours through a program? I know some of them have programs
Yeah,
now,
some of the new AI ones actually will detect stuff in there, and I
and then
haven't.
you gotta trust AI. I don't
That's
know.
right. Yeah.
The jury's out on that one too. I know. I was like, I'd love to be able, and it'd be nice if they could, but then I'm like, man, then you're handing your data over to a government, and are they going to be deceptive about it? Like, that's the problem I have with that.
This is
But
true. Yep.
yeah, maybe you can invent one, Carl, and
Yeah,
like,
maybe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. I've had a lot of inventions over the years.
I bet.
Yeah,
You should start your
the
own
one I,
protocol, like, with all this stuff. I
oh yeah,
think you could, yeah, with some that it's really needed. I've told everybody in different areas, not just this area, not just with the cryptids, in paranormal and ET, that it only goes so far. There's no
right,
step 2. Like, what do we do now? Okay,
right,
now we're here. Now you're acting like
right. Well, and
there's no step 2, you know?
yeah, and that's pretty much what that book, Help Me, I'm Haunted, helps with
Oh,
a little bit.
cool.
With people, with experiencers that have worked through that. And anyway, it's definitely an interesting read. So
Yep.
if you
Give
get
us the name of that book again. I want to pull it
so
up and put it in chat.
yeah, it's Help Me, I'm Haunted, and
Help
it's
me, I'm haunted.
Reverend Sean Whittington is the primary author, and then there's many co-authors on that book, but it's
Awesome.
definitely
And you
worth
said
reading.
it's on Amazon. If anybody in
It's on
chat could
Amazon.
pull that link, I'd be greatly appreciated. I'm locked into a screen right now, but I would love, yeah. So into the description, all Carl's links will be in there also. But check it out. Yeah, I would love. I think you're ready for you've probably been ready to write your book, Carl,
I
for a
have,
very long time.
I have so much content, obviously, as you can tell.
Yeah, no, you do. Next time you come on, we should. I wanted to know even before I'm not like we're gonna end it, but if I keep my shows under 2 hours, I can put the shorts together, which are really cool,
Okay,
and I love doing it. But I'm wondering if you're busy maybe next Sunday since the Sunday cruise here, and they seem to be like really Bigfoot people,
I
or if you wanted to do a part 2
absolutely
next
no.
week.
I would
Okay.
absolutely do a part 2 next week. Yeah,
Yeah, because
that'd be
there's so
great.
much I wanna get into, and too, I'll pull, like, well, if you wanna send me new things too so people can hear the audio and see some of the pictures
Oh
and the
yeah,
stick structures and stuff like that, and I'll you know what? And I'll have the phone line. I won't even talk about the phone
yeah,
line today, but I'll have that all up, and so in chat, if you guys are here and you wanna give Carl a call on the phone, while we're on air and ask him, like, that's gonna be available by next Sunday, I promise you. So that would be awesome. But yeah,
and
we still have a little bit of time left, Carl. So I just wanted, because I saw, I'm like, man, time just flew. I just looked and we're an hour and 45 minutes in. I couldn't believe it. So I wanted to catch you before the time ran out. So, but
sure,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
no, I guess into a lot of people, they're out there. Like I know Kurt, and he reached out to somebody in his area and they weren't even helpful, like with him. And I feel like sometimes
mm,
that's what happens when people get too, I don't know, that ego just kind of grows a little too big because people are out there and there's a lot of them that are in this group. Oh, Kurt's got it on and
there
there
it
it
is.
is. There it is.
Great.
Thank you so much, Kurt.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Yep. So I'm curious too. So you've experienced the paranormal your entire life.
Mhm. I have.
In this, where does it stem from? Is it in your family genetics also, or have you
Um,
pinpointed where it
yeah,
comes from?
my mom I know had some experiences where she like had insight into what she thought was past lives. But it
Oh, she opened the Akashic records and did that type of stuff.
yeah, well,
Cool.
but she didn't really, I want to say, um, I don't know. If she had it, she really wasn't doing the, she really wasn't researching it that as much. Although she was really interested in, she went to a lot of psychics and um, spent a lot of money on ones that I know were quacks, and and
My grandma did the same. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that was to her detriment at times, but she was interested in it in that aspect. But I tell you what, when I got both barrels. I know I was talking to my sister the other day, and she actually went out and read the "Help Me, I'm Haunted" book, and she said she read my part, and she goes, "I am so glad I didn't get that gene." That's what she said, because stuff like that always made her nervous. But even though she was an experiencer as well, because the house I grew up with was haunted by a gentleman who had offed himself with some rat poison, actually,
Oh,
and that
so
wasn't well
interesting.
known until I had a very vivid dream about that,
Mm.
where I was actually looking through his eyes and relived that last day. But
Oh God, I've had that happen. I had it
eh,
happen. I once that I vividly remember, and it was somebody I knew very well, and
yeah,
it was intense.
and it was funny because my parents bought the house in 1959 before I was born, and in the dream I actually got this. I went down into the basement. I got a stool, stood up on this stool, and I reached up on top of this built-in shelving unit that was in the basement, feeling around, and I remember I could feel the dust and just the grit, and then I suddenly touched a piece of burlap, and I pulled it down, and it was this little bag of burlap with a piece of twine that tied it together, and uh, and I took it and I put it in my pocket, and then I walked upstairs and I went into the kitchen, and I sat down. I opened up the kitchen door, and there was two boys sitting on either side of the table I didn't know, and this woman who, when she saw me come in, hopped up from her chair at the table and went over to the stove, and she dished up a bowl of oatmeal, and she put it on the table in front of me, and I remember I had my hand in my pocket, and I was twirling that burlap sack in my hand with the thought, I'll just put this in my oatmeal. And then I looked up at the two boys and the woman, and I said, I love you. And with that, I woke up, right? But one of the things my dad says, when they first moved in 4 years before I was born, he found these burlap sacks that were on the top shelf of the thing that had rat poison in them. And the other thing was, I said, and the other weird thing about my dream was that I had the window curtains in the basement were the barber cape that my mom used. She cut my hair horribly. I'm just telling you right now. But I said the barber cape were the drapes on the windows, and my mom was stunned because when they moved in, she hated those drapes in the basement, and she took them down and she used the material to make that barber cape. I mean, there was absolutely no way I would know that, right? Um, so it was, yeah, it. And then, of course, now that we have access to records and ancestry and all kinds of things like that, whatever, I've done research, and I'm like, oh yeah, the family had two boys, had, I mean, it was, I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
when you start to learn it. So do you have the Irish descent or the Native American
no,
in you?
no,
None of
I'm. So you'll love this. I'm half Czech.
Okay.
So, and then part of me is from what I want to say is Pomerania. So is now northern Poland, but at that point it was northeastern Germany. And then, but a portion of me actually is because my third great grandmother was a maid at a hotel in Berlin, and according to a letter she wrote, she said she caught the eye of a Russian dignitary. Right. Well, she caught a little more than his eye. And 9 months later, my second great grandfather was born. But of course that Russian dignitary was his name was Nikolai Nikolaevich, who was the second son of Nicholas I, Tsar of Russia. So,
wow.
And interestingly enough, through DNA, I did the whole ancestry DNA thing. I actually submitted it to, I think it's called My True Ancestry, and there was actually a marker that was unique to Romanovs. And I was like, and it showed up in my DNA. So I was like, okay, well that clinches it. It's more than just my great great grandmother's notes or letter that she wrote. So.
Wow. That's crazy. So Polly, our girl Polly Rotterman, she's been at the heart of SNX since it's been going. She wants to know, what are the implications for humankind with three, I always want to say AI Atlas, but 3i Atlas, in your opinion, alien or not? And she just wanted to thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I've been following this along, and it's like, some of the reports, it's like, oh, there's a radio signal coming from, and then it's like, well, no, it was, naturally radio, kind of, so I'm not sure yet. I think my jury's still out, but, obviously if it was an alien craft, it's absolutely remarkable. And I look forward to the coming months. And if it's not, great celestial event, right? I mean,
I know people are starting to really jump on the bandwagon on this one. Everybody, in the beginning, they're like, no, and I'm like, it's catching mainstream attention. And the government doesn't let a good crisis go to waste. They never do.
No. Yeah, we have plenty enough going on with the, he said, she said, and looking this way.
Right. Going on right distraction, but over there. But yeah, Polly, I know she's an investigative journalist, so she's been doing a lot. She's collected a lot of data on this, so we'll have to get her on and have an update definitely on what's going on with this whole thing. Yeah, it's fascinating. It definitely is fascinating. But yeah, I did. Carla, it's absolutely so much fun to have you on, and I could sit and chit chat with you forever. We are winding down to the last 5 minutes here. So I just really wanted, is there anything before you come? So you're definitely able to do next Sunday?
Yes. Yep. Next Sunday I can.
So Carla is going to be back 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Sunday. And we're going to have it's going to be round 3, but round 2 of this conversation. And we could really go into some stuff, and then definitely going to work on that round table, because I think that would be amazing. If you have anybody, if you have anybody, I know you said too that you had somebody, let me know and I can get everybody. I think it would be so good to get all of you, that are leading the way in this, on this. I think that'd be phenomenal to do, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing. And Polly said, thank you so much for your answer.
Oh, you're welcome, Polly.
Yeah, she's excellent. She's excellent. So, and with that being said, is there anything until next Sunday that you would like to leave the listeners with? I told them, I put it out there. I said I could start a group chat if you wanted to, also in the SNX side, if they wanted to come in there and chit chat about Bigfoot, because everybody's always thinks that we just like UFOs, and it's not the case. I love Bigfoot. I'm all about Bigfoot too.
You haven't even broached my entire subject on UFOs either. Having been
that's right. You have to be so next Sunday.
I'm a Phoenix Lights witness. So
I saw that on your thing, the Phoenix Lights, and I wasn't sure if it was tied to, see how my brain just said, oh, don't just assume I'm just UFO. And then in my brain, when I read that, and it's even in your radio. I thought that there was like a Bigfoot experience with the Phoenix
Oh,
Lights. That's what I
no,
know.
no,
You
no,
witnessed the
no.
Phoenix Lights.
That was March
Oh.
13th, 1997, and I got
Oh,
off work
wow.
late. Yeah, that
This
was
just got way more intense. Yeah, no, this is I didn't know that. So I have a bazillion other questions, so I'm just gonna I'm
yep.
gonna have to hold it down until next Sunday too.
That's
But
right. Yeah,
yeah.
tune in next Sunday to hear all the UFO stories. Yeah,
Yes. Oh
of
wow,
which I have
Carl.
4. Yeah. So
Wow. Oh yeah, Kurt, thank you. Yeah. Every time, like I told everybody too, just real quickly, everybody who has thrown a super out there, super chat since I'm so excited to be back into the YouTube creators program for the 3rd time. So hopefully I stay in there for longer than the last 2 rounds. But if you have done and sent a super sticker, super chat, anything like that, every time you've done it, I kept a list and I'm going to have a special drawing. I'm looking at right around, I think New Year's Eve would be a good time. And then you're going to get a special package just for me if you're drawn. So thank you so much, Kurt, Polly, and everybody else who's a Mad Pax. I mean, like, it's such a great, I mean, they're so supportive. I love the
oh
listeners.
yeah.
And they've just like really been digging all this. So next Sunday, guys, same place, same time, and we'll have Carl back. So I always say, Carl, at the end of this, is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with?
Like I said, just absolutely keep an open mind, because there's always some truth or at least insight into everything that you encounter.
So true. So true. And as long as you keep that space open, like there's possibilities.
Absolutely.
You're not going to miss them.
Right.
It's just like, don't shut yourself off to it. You're
Nope.
missing a lot then. Well, Carl, on behalf of SNX Radio and myself, thank you so much for coming back on. And we're going to see you next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we are going to be talking about UFOs too. So this will be even, I'm not saying that would be even more, but it's going to be like more, more fun in
Yeah.
one basket. Like, you can go and have fun places, but now we got like, we're building like Adventureland or something going on. So
Yeah.
this will be fun. This will be a
Yes.
lot of fun. And it was fun
Absolutely.
tonight too. So just so you know. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you under 2 hours so we can get those shorts out, and I'll get those all to you also, and then I'll be in touch soon. So, and you guys,
Wonderful.
if you want Carl to like drop your state, if you're not comfortable doing it on YouTube or X or Facebook, DM me and then I can get that to Carl. And if he's coming in your area or something like that, then, like I said, he's going to be
Yeah.
coming to Iowa after we thaw, if we thaw ever. Again, after this winter, it doesn't feel like it every single winter, but so that would be pretty exciting. So thank you again, Carl. And
You're
until
welcome.
next Sunday, yeah, we'll see you. So thanks everybody in the audience and the chat. I appreciate every single one of you and your support. You have no idea how much it means. It really does. And like I said, I haven't decided a deadline on it. I just kind of been brewing this idea for my thank you to all of you is that I'm going to, every time. So I've got every list, and every time that you have sent a super chat, super sticker or something, I'm putting it down and then I'll throw it in and I'm going to pull. I don't know how many names exactly yet, but I'm thinking right around New Year's would be a good time to start. So, and then you get a surprise special package from me. So that I am very excited about. So I take it very seriously. I think you'll like it. It's tailored. It'll be tailored towards the winners. Anyway, so yeah, this week, Laura, oh gosh, you guys, I gotta shut it down or I don't get the, see you soon. Oh crap, don't do it.